Hello YouTube, thought I'd do a quick video here. I'm kind of taking you along the ride here as I build a interface board for handhelds. Now this interface board will be plug and play, no modifications whatsoever to the handheld. You plug in the cables, you adjust the volume, there'll be some adjustments on the interface board, and you'll be able to get that handheld will be able to do date, time, weather announcements, repeater ID, and Zello. Now you're probably wondering, well, why would I want to do that? Well, let's say you have a repeater that you cannot get online because that repeater does not have any data hookups. Well, handhelds are cheap, obviously cheaper than a mobile radio. So you could take a handheld, program it to that repeater frequency, and get that repeater online. Now, if you really needed to, you could always put an external antenna on to even get more range. Now, the handheld that I'm using in this video is a Retevis RT97S. Now, you're probably wondering, well, will this circuit work with all handhelds? Well, obviously, I cannot test all the handhelds out there. However, I'm going to, try to have some adjustments on the interface board where you can adjust to your handheld. That's what I'm hoping. But for now, I just have the Retevis RT97 model that I'm using. I have the volume on the handheld all the way down. This is programmed in my repeater. Matter of fact, the repeater that I'm using is the 2 mobile radio repeater that I just did a video on. I'm still testing that. So this is a good way to test this board, because that repeater does not have any hookups at all for to hook up an interface board. So this is going to be a good test as I do this. Now, this is a prototype circuit, so I'm still fine-tuning it. I'm still adjusting it. This circuit is one out of about 3 circuits that need to be made before this interface board is up and fully functional. But for today, I only need to test, can we key up Zello when this radio receives a signal? Can it key it up? That's what we're testing today. There's no sound hooked up whatsoever on this circuit. Now, I know what you're probably thinking is that, didn't you just do a video like a year ago on how you can take a handheld, some cables, and you put the handheld in VOX mode, and you can get Zello to go over a handheld? Yes, I did do that. And yes, that way does work. Fairly decent. But this way is going to be better. This way is going to be better. This is going to be, I'm hoping, keyword hoping, this way will not be like a VOX type of setup. And I'm going to show you what I mean here in a minute. But, so that's kind of the advantage of doing it this way with a COM port. It's going to give us some more options than you did when you were using VOX. So there, that's kind of what's going on. This radio is programmed the repeater that's off camera. I also have a simplex repeater hooked up, and I do that because I like to have more ways than one to test a circuit. What a simplex repeater does, it will copy whatever I do. Whether I just key up a radio and unkey it, it will detect that and do the same thing. So it's kind of like me having, I key up a radio, it will do it again. So instead of me key up a radio twice, I'll have to key it up once, and then my simplex will copy me. So the simplex repeater is on. You cannot see that. That's off camera. I have this radio programmed to the repeater frequency also. This radio, though, if you noticed, there is a jack, or there is a plug into the jack that's for the microphone, and there is no cable hooked up. You're probably wondering, well, why am I doing that? I want to disable the built-in microphone. The easiest way to do that is to plug in a cable that has nothing plugged in at the other end. That's going to disable the built-in microphone. The reason why I want to do that, because I want to make sure this circuit only activates when there's no sound. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of funny, because if you're talking VOX, then you need sound. Now, if you're not familiar with VOX, VOX is, like I said, it does work, but the problem with VOX is that if you pause while you're talking, it's going to drop that transmission. It's going to stop keying up the radio. Then if you talk again, it'll key back up. So that's kind of the bad thing about VOX. There's ways that you can make that better with delays and all that stuff. But for the most part, if you just use VOX straight up without any other type of software or anything like that, that's what VOX will do. So I want to make sure that this thing is being keyed up with no sound. And the best way to do that, disable the built-in microphone that's in this handheld, and that's the easiest way to disable it. So that's why that plug is there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Zello on the screen. We're going to get date and time on the screen. So let's try that. Okay, now I want to explain a couple things here. I want you to watch this cuckoo bird. It will go behind a shutter. And on Zello, this is the date and time program. On Zello, watch here where it says status. It should say active, and it should say sending, should say yes. Again, this circuit has no sound. That part of the circuit is not built yet. There's no sense for me to do that until I'm satisfied with this circuit first. So, and to make sure that no sound is coming through, I also disabled the microphone on the handheld. So, we're going to key this up. Let's see what happens. Now, before I key this up, every time I do a video like this, when I key up a radio, my headset that I'm using will cut out or make weird noises. There's nothing I can do about that. So be patient with me. You may hear it make some clicking noise. It's because I'm too close. So hopefully, and I'm kind of close to do all this, but hopefully this will be all right for this test. So when I key up, that's what you should see. And I'm also not going to talk. I'm going to dead key and not say a word. Even though we got the microphone unhooked, I want to make absolutely sure this thing is not relying on sound to key up Zello. So let's try it. So I'm going to hold the radio here. You're going to see this go transmit. Again, this is programmed the repeater frequency off camera. This is programmed repeater frequency off camera. You're going to see the display light up. You're going to see the green light on here, receiving. And then you'll see the red light on here for transmit. And I'm not going to talk. And then you should see active on Zello, and the bird should go behind the cuckoo. The bird should go behind the shutter. Now my simplex should kick on and recopy that. Oh, I had my volume up there. Look at that. It's working great. Now, if you would have noticed, if that was VOX, it would have dropped out because there was no sound being detected. This circuit's working better than that. But do it one more time. Now my simplex should key up. Look at that. That's working really good. So there's proof this circuit does not rely on actual audio to make it work. Again, no radio modifications at all. Plug and play. So I'm still fine-tuning this circuit. I'm going to do it one more time. Now the display on here will turn off, but you'll still see the green light here. And like I said, Zello's still keyed up. So I'm going to key this up. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want to key this up kind of long. I want to try to do a couple, well, let's see here. Maybe I'll do, I don't know, a couple seconds here. I want to make sure that this thing is, I got everything down. So, you know, let's see here. Everything's all set. So yeah, I'm kind of double checking things here. Okay, so I'm going to key this up one more time. I'm not going to talk. Again, Watch the red light on here. It's keying up. You can see the green light on here. It's receiving, and you'll see Zello. And oh, by the way, you're probably wondering, what does that mean when the bird goes behind the shutter? Well, that's the neat function of doing this way. When that bird goes behind the shutter, it will not allow date, time, or weather to play. So what does that mean? That means when it's behind there, it won't key up and try to talk over somebody over the two-way radio. That's the beauty of doing this way. We can have that function. So how this works, let's say, for example, you're talking on the radio and the time is up for date, time, and weather to play. It's going to stop. It's going to detect it's behind the shutter. It will not try to play until that person unkeys the radio. Then it will detect, oh, the shutter's open, and now we can play the date and time. Okay? So that's the beauty of that. That's what that means when that bird goes behind that shutter. For radio, two-way radio, it will not key up. Now, obviously with Zello, that's a little different. You can't key up Zello when someone's talking unless you have your Zello channel set up where you have admin rights and you can key up over somebody. But for the most part, it'll beep back at you if you try to key up. So that's Zello. We don't have to worry about it. It's a two-way radio part we got to worry about. So that's what that means when that bird goes behind the shutter. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to try to do it here. I kind of wish I don't have to sit there and hold the radio. Well, it don't matter. Let's do it one more time. No, simplex and turn on and do the same thing. Look at that. She's working good. Now, if that was Vox, it would have dropped that connection. That's what the point of me doing that without talking. I'm showing you that this does not rely on sound to make the Zello turn on. That's the neat thing about it. So, yeah, it's working really good. So, I'm still testing it, though. But if this is something that you may be interested in, I'll put my email address down below. Shoot me an email and we'll see where this thing goes. I got a few more ideas I want to do to this, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I do want to try to have some adjustments because obviously I cannot test every handheld out there. So I'm going to have to try to have some adjustments so you can adjust it accordingly to your handheld. At least that's the plan. Now, if you're wondering what handhelds I'm using in this video, I'm using if I haven't mentioned it, the Retevis RT97S handhelds. Both of them are. So that's what I'm using. You know, they're nice handhelds. They work great. I like them. So if you're just wondering what type of handheld I'm using, that's what I'm using. And I think that's really about it for this video. This will be part 1. My part 2 video, I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. Like I say, I got to do more testing before I really go to the next step. I don't want to build more circuits and then find out, well, this didn't work the way I want it to work. I mean, right now it looks like it's working really good, but I still got to do more testing. So anyway, if you're interested in something like this, shoot me an email. Thank you. And any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.